The Squier Sonic series is here. Welcome back to the mix. I'm ABD. Today we have an unboxing of a Squier Sonic series guitar, a new series from Squier that is replacing, I believe, the Bullet line. $200 for this guitar. They have Tellys and Strats. They have a Bronco bass. That's the short scale bass they're offering, unfortunately. They do not have a Mustang. They do have a precision bass, however, which is one of the colors is Miami blue, I think, which looks friggin' spectacular. But they're all poplar bodies. They all have ceramic pickups. And here we have a Strat, and it's purple. Or I think they call it ultraviolet, something like that. So, that's enough talking about it. We can open the package. On the front here, it says Fragile. I think that's Italian. And so we can open it up. And then we can plug it in very quickly to get a sound demo, but there'll be a part 2 of this video where I'll do a more in-depth review of this guitar. So we have the box, Fragile, we have a knife, and we can open it. This is in fact from Sweetwater. Shout out to Sweetwater. They always do a good job packing it up. They usually double box it, and that's what they did here. I had a bit of an issue with FedEx delivering it. I usually do no signature required when I get a guitar, so I don't have to worry about any of that stuff. But this time I forgot to do that, and it was signature required. And they attempted delivery twice, but they didn't attempt delivery at all. They didn't even ring my doorbell. So I had to go pick it up from my local FedEx, and that was kind of annoying for a super cheap kind of guitar like this that I was doing for a review that I paid for with my own money. So this is not sponsored by Squier or Fender or Sweetwater. This is my opinion, my own opinion, and so if it's not good, I will tell you. But I'm hoping that it is good. So we have it double boxed, so we'll bring it over here to pull out this over there. And I can already tell you that it is light. It's a poplar body, and so it's going to be a bit lighter of a guitar. But let's see what we got here. Well, looks good so far. We have your standard Squier packaging where you've got this bent piece of cardboard at the top to hold the headstock in place. This is new. It's got the trem bar, which seems like a really cheap trem bar. The little white tip is smaller. Smaller white tip on the trem bar. Then you have an extra spring in there for the trem and your Allen key, because I don't have enough of those. And we can pull it out of here maybe now. Well, it didn't break going back and forth. It seems to be all intact. We just have to kind of lift this cardboard to get it out. Oy. And now I think I can pull it out if I put it over here. There it is. There's guitar. There's the guitar. Okay. So I could already tell you it's a good weight, but it's not too light. Sometimes poplar bodies are too light and they feel like cheap. This is a good weight. Like 7.8 pounds? 7.6? Something like that. Maybe even 8 pounds. And now, our favorite part, the reveal. Oh man. Look at that purple. That is a great color. Oh man, I would buy more expensive, like Player Series or even like American Fender in this color. Six screw bridge here, and it looks like some of the screws are like kind of crooked. It's kind of weird. The pickguard is interesting too. It's 3-ply like they usually are. They're usually white, black, white, but this is like white in a very light purple and then white. Like white, periwinkle white. We do have a nice big crack on the neck here, and the neck pocket where it connects to the body, because probably because it was bouncing around and shipping. The satin finish on the back of the neck does not feel very good. It doesn't look very good. You can see marks from them sanding it, like scratch marks. When you get down or up here towards the body, it's like thicker. It wasn't sanded all the way down, or they oversprayed the satin finish. And like I said, there's a big hairline crack right there. It's not thick. You can feel it if you run your fingernail over it. You have your cover over the back here, which is pretty standard. You have this neck plate, says Squier on it. It's kind of normal thickness. The strap buttons kind of look cheap. There's kind of ridges on it, and they feel really light. Like you can just tell they're really low quality. The tuning machines, I'm worried about these. I have a strong feeling these are not going to be very good. The nut, on the other hand, looks really good. It's cut really well. At least it looks like it is. The fretboard itself is Laurel, I believe, and it looks really good, but it feels scratchy. Oof. That's real scratchy feeling. Let me move this paper. But as far as right now, that's very scratchy feeling frets. Not great. Yeah, that's scratchy. It does kind of remind me of the Bullet series, that's for sure. We have a little warning, California. We've got a little sticker there. Fender with free lessons and whatever they usually do. There's some marking on the pick guard on the edges where they cut it up here. The rest of it kind of looks okay. The pickups look fine. They don't look super low quality. The shape of the neck feels pretty standard C shaped. Like I said, the satin finish is not super great, but it doesn't feel terrible once you're actually holding it. There's no shiny finish on the front of the headstock. It's got the satin finish on the front too. Usually they have like the shininess. There's a little yellow sticker right there for some reason. I'm not quite sure why. Now that I'm holding it like this, it feels a little more light, like 7.4, 7.5 pounds. We'll weigh it probably in part 2. The bridge, the material they're using on the bridge, it just feels cheap and looks cheap. The metal they're using here feels cheap as well. The switch doesn't feel terrible, but it definitely feels cheap. The pots feel cheap. I'm probably not going to take it all the way apart in part 2, but the screws are not flush. Like there a lot of screws on this are like crooked. The screws in the bridge are crooked. This screw here and that one, they're all like put in on like a weird angle. So yeah, so far it definitely kind of feels like a $200 guitar. It kind of feels like the Bullet series. Like I said, the fretboard and the frets are kind of scratchy for sure. They're really narrow frets. They're tiny little like vintage frets, which I don't always love. I kind of like big meaty frets. So yeah, definitely in tune. This is my favorite tuning. Well, so first impressions are not amazing, but not totally terrible when you're spending $200 for a guitar. That's really not that much money. So you kind of expect to have some quality control issues. What we can do now is plug it into a tube amp, just get a little bit of tonage, and then I will wrap it up and we'll come back for part 2 for a full review. First we have to tune it up, so let me do that. We can turn on the amp to let that warm up. We have a Hughes & Kettner Tubemeister 20 that we'll run it into, a little 20 amp lunchbox type thing. I don't even think they tuned this at all before they sent it out, because the tuners are all just in line. I don't think they set this thing up or tuned it at all before they sent it out. The bridge doesn't look like it was set up. Little disappointing. There's as of right now, it seems to me like there's better options for you out there. Like a Harley Benton might be a better option for $200 or even cheaper for a guitar that might actually be set up correctly and have the screws installed straight. Where are we at? E, A, D, G. So yeah, not super amazing, but it's kind of what I expected, because Squier does okay stuff at their cheaper price points, but really you want to spend a little more money on a Squier to get something good. God, I feel like the strings are gonna friggin' break because they're really cheap strings and a really cheap guitar that wasn't set up. I feel like this is the first time they've ever been stretched. What's going on with the bridge now? The bridge is not floating after bringing it to pitch, so if that's like your thing where you like a floating bridge, you might have to set that up to your liking, but who knows if it would even work. But okay, so here's the first strum, D chord. I mean, that sounds good. Acoustically, it sounds good. Very resonant, loud. It's a very loud guitar. Yeah, I think we definitely need some action on the. It's kind of weird. The E string kind of feels high, but when you look at the bridge saddle all the way down here, it's like all the way down. All the other saddles are like in line, high, and then B is a little lower, and then E is like really low. Like it feels low. It looks low, but it feels high. But you're getting a little bit of buzz on it, so it's definitely a little low. So I think the string gauge that it comes with is 9s. And when you get high up here, kind of past the 12th, you get kind of some deadness on the strings. Like the action feels simultaneously too high and too low. So the action feels too high, but the frets are clearly not leveled as well as they should be. Yeah, very scratchy fretboard. So let's plug it in. Like I said, we have a Tubemeister 20. Like I didn't say, into a Mesa Boogie V30 speaker. We have some pedals on the floor. And, alright. So there's a lot of distortion on these pickups. These pickups are actually surprisingly really good sounding. Yeah, I do like these pickups. That's on the neck. There's definitely some breakup and distortion on these pickups by themselves. We don't have any pedals on. If we put a tube screamer on, we turn on some reverb. So yeah, the strings are still stretching, but it sounds pretty good. The pickups are not terrible. Give it a little tune-up real quick. And so yeah, there's a lot of distortion on these pickups when they're all the way, volume all the way up. If we turn the volume down, we can clean them up a little bit. Yeah, so like I said, the tuners are not super great. They're kind of falling out of tune a lot, and we haven't even put the trem bar in or really done any of that. But that was mostly on the neck. In part 2, we'll go over more of the tones you can get from the bridge and stuff like that. And just go more in depth about how I feel about the guitar. But the neck feels pretty good. There's no really sharp ends. It's kind of the ends here are almost kind of like rolled a little bit. When you get up towards the top, maybe there's a little bit of sharpness on either side, but pretty impressive overall as far as the quality. You could put new tuners on here for like $40. You could replace the pickups too, but so far, not too bad. Not that amazing. The Squier Sonic series. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed that, or if you're looking forward to part 2, please like or subscribe. I would appreciate it. But until then, stay cool, stay awesome, and play guitar. quite sure why. Now that I'm holding it, yeah, it does feel kind of light. It's shut up. Like I said, we have a Tubemeister 20. Like I said, we have oh my god, stop it. Adobe, we don't care. Creative Cloud, we don't care. Thank you so much. It's plugged in. Is the volume all the way up? Is it just that quiet? Wait, what? Are these that low output? I guess my amp is not loud enough. We'll bring the amp up. Quality, you could put new tuners on here for like $40. You could put new tuners on here for like $40.